All right, hello students, long time no see. This is the first of many videos that will be up so that y'all can keep up with what's happening in biology. I know it's hard to learn at home without a teacher, and so I'll try to keep this YouTube page updated, probably one video per week. That is my goal right now, just to go over assignments and things to come. So this video might be a little longer, so don't be alarmed by the minute length just because I have to go over some basic things, but I hope you all are doing well at home. I know there's probably a lot of distractions there, so y'all are doing great. Keep up the great work. So let's start with our calendar that you can see up to the top left. So last week, that was our first full week of being at home, and we were trying to finish out our evolution unit. So I gave you a study guide assignment on the USA Test Prep, and you had to finish that by Wednesday at midnight, and then you had a test on Elluminate, and that was supposed to be done Thursday and Friday, but I extended it out into Sunday night just to make sure everyone was adjusting to the new digital platform. So hopefully that is completed for you, and if it is, you are ready to move on to this week's work, which is the 23rd today and through the 27th. And for this week, we're starting our new unit, which is classification. So for this unit, also called taxonomy, same thing, I'll use them interchangeably. It's our last unit. It's a pretty light unit. Usually students have an easier time with it, and usually we do not take much time at all, maybe 2 to 3 weeks, depending on what happens. We're really out for the foreseeable future, so we're trying to just be super flexible. We're actually going to get to extend this unit a little longer than usual, which is great. So we're going to spend 1 week per standard element. And there's only 3 elements. It's SB4. There's only 3 for this unit, so it will take us 3 weeks to get through classification. So this first week, it is week 1. We're going through SB4A, and we'll talk about what that is in just a second. Next week, which is the 30th, through the, let's get April up here, 30th through April 3rd, that's going to be your second week. So SB4B will be the standard we do the week after that. So the 6th through the 10th is going to be your spring break. You're not going to have any work from me. And then the 13th through the 17th will be your final element there, SB4C. So standards, everything is on my website still. So please don't forget that you can access all of this. If you're confused, it's probably on my website. Standards here, you can see it's the first tab there, same for level biology. And then under that, just a quick note for Remind, if you're already signed up for my Remind, which you should be, you're already getting my daily updates. But if you're not, I want to refer you to this page here. So you can see that on my website, it's updating what I send out live. So if you get your phone taken away, which happened to at least one of you over the weekend, or you lose it, anything like that, you can always come to my website here. And if you scroll all the way down, you can see that it has directions to sign up if you do get a new phone or device. That's just a quick note so you can stay completely updated. And that's how most students are asking me questions too, and I'm usually pretty quick. As long as it's within school hours, Monday through Friday, I'll respond very quickly. So make sure you're on that. And then you can see down here for units, we have our last unit here, classification, and just like always, you click classification and you can see the PowerPoints are already up there. Today's, I'll go real quick. Today's is this first one here. You can see that I have a separate file under it's supposed to be a PowerPoint. It was too large to upload as a PowerPoint, so it's a PDF. But the second file there, it says note sheet. It's actually a note sheet you can print off that will guide you through the notes, and you can just fill in the extra blanks if you prefer that method. I highly encourage you to keep doing notes the way you've been doing them. So AP freshman, that is doing it in your bill with inputs and outputs. Level biology sophomores, this would be, I highly encourage you to download and print this if possible. You can also fill it in electronically. So This video is going to be going over our classification or taxonomy week 1. Again, this will be a little bit longer than a usual weekly video just because I'm going to try to go slow and really cover all bases as I go through this. One last thing I want to go over before we leave my website is this last thing, digital learning. I added an extra tab and this is new here. So students have questions and want to meet with Miss Matson, you now can. On Zoom. Zoom is a very easy platform to have video calls, and you don't have to have the video option on or anything like that. You can even call in to where it's very easy if you're on the road or anything like that, which you shouldn't be because you should be at home socially distancing. So every Thursday at 10 a.m. I'll be hosting a virtual meetup to ask questions and get clarification for any assignments. So if you just want to ask me something in person, not really in person, but anything and everything, get on that platform at 10 a.m. and it will be open for maybe an hour-ish, probably more like 30 minutes. So I would say 10 to 10:30, depends on how long it goes. With the questions and how many people are asking them, but that will be this Thursday, so that would be the 26th will be our first one. There's a link there. You click the link to join. You can just do it on a browser on the computer, or if you just go to zoom.com, you can enter in that meeting ID you see right there. So under that, of course, has been the digital plan. This is what I'm emailing out to students and parents, and so far it's still only week 1 and week 2. We're in week 2 right now, and you can see it's listed out very easily there. I'll put week 3 and 4 right under here. So if you're ever confused on what does it do for biology, come straight to this page. All right, so enough of that. Let's get into our first set of notes. So if you haven't already, please go to the PowerPoint or the PDF if you want, and you can pull that up on a separate device, same device, split your screen, however you want to do it, but I also will have it up here. So you can take the notes straight from this video. You can pause it at any time. There's going to be points where I tell you to pause it. Please do, because I'm going to have you answer some questions just like you're actually in class. The beauty about this is you can refer back to it at any time. This can be a study tool for you, all of that good stuff. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up that PowerPoint for us here. And I'm going to try to zoom in as much as I can. All right, so classification week 1, SB4A. This is our last unit in biology, a sloth picture for your viewing pleasure. And here's our standards that we will cover. So SB4 is obtain, evaluate, and communicate information to illustrate the organization of interacting systems within single-celled and multi-celled organisms. So basically living things. A, B, and C, 3 elements, 3 weeks. So this week we are only going to focus on A. Construct an argument supported by scientific information to explain patterns in structures and functions among clades of organisms, including the origin of eukaryotes by endosymbiosis. It's a mouthful. Hopefully it'll make more sense after we go through this PowerPoint. So taxonomy, again, this is our unit, also known as classification. Let's go ahead and get started here. All right, so taxonomy is the science of classifying and naming organisms based on similarities. That's why it's used interchangeably with classification there as our unit title. The first man that started this classification process was Aristotle. He developed the very first system, but it was too vague, so it's no longer used. You can see his system here. 2 categories, plants and animals, and within plants it was large, medium, and small, trees, shrubs, grasses. Thinking about all the plants we have, you can already start to think of the issues with this. What about algae? What about what about all the other plants what about a small tree? What about a large tree? And then animals, we're simply divided into 3 categories here, so land, air, and water. Linnaeus came along and developed the system we actually use now. So it's way more specific and it's very beneficial to us. There's 8 levels, as you can see here. This triangle will be used, so this is important. You will know all of these levels, you will know them in order, you will know what they are. So get used to looking at this figure here. So you can see right here at the top it says broadest, that's why it's the largest category. And we use a triangle for it. And then species, all the way at the bottom, is the most specific. So you can see it goes domain, kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, species. He developed these 8 levels, and then really 7 levels, and then we developed domain later. But for sake of simplicity, he developed these levels. And then he developed the binomial nomenclature. Y'all know that bi is 2 and nomial is name. So we'll talk about that the next slide. So it's a 2-word system for naming organisms, also known as their scientific names, which y'all should already be familiar with. They reduce the confusion. If you're talking to anyone around the world that's in the scientific realm and they are doing research on these animals, they would know it by its scientific name. So for this example here, this cat that you see in the picture, its scientific name is Felis concolor, which is the official name for what we say is the puma, mountain lion, or cougar. So that's even within the United States. Speaking the same language, we have different names based on where we are regionally. So here are some quick ones that I want y'all to figure out. So you can pause it and I'll reveal the answer after you try to guess. So the first one is Felis catus. A, B, C, or D. Do you think it's the dog, cat, bird, or fish? Okay, and the correct answer is cat. Feline, felis, and then catus, cat. Maybe that was an easy one to figure out. This is your next one. Dionaea muscipula. I'm not pronouncing these correctly, but is it A, big leaf maple, B, dandelion, C, Venus flytrap, or D, buttercup? The answer is the Venus flytrap. A lot of students usually get it because of the muscipula. They think mussel, and that is correct here because it doesn't actually have a muscle, but it looks and acts as a muscle as it closes down on its prey. And then Panthera pardus. A, leopard, B, jaguar, C, cheetah, or D, cougar? The answer is this guy right here, so leopard. Next one, Equus caballus. A, sheep, B, goat, C, horse, or D, mule? The answer is horse. Good job. Agastrodon contortrix. Is it A, copperhead snake, B, short-horned lizard, C, boreal toad, or D, garter snake? It is the copperhead snake. Most of you probably got that right because of contortrix. You think of contort like a snake, but there's also garter snake there, so there were 2 snake options, but it is the copperhead. And then Toxicodendron radicans. Is it A, oleander, B, poison ivy, C, milkweed, or D, yellow sage? The answer is poison ivy, and a lot of people get it because it's toxic. Great job. All right, back to the PowerPoint. So scientific names, what are the rules with them? Because there are rules here. It's written in Latin. That's why a lot of us can get different root words from it because our language was developed off of it. Same with Spanish. If you know Spanish or are taking Spanish or French or really any language, you're going to see similarities here. It's italicized when typed, underlined when written. And so if you're ever submitting anything online during these weeks, make sure you italicize it. The first word is the genus name. So for these examples down here, Acer rubrum, the red maple, Acer would be the genus. The second word is the species name, which is lowercase. So rubrum for the red maple would be the species name. And you can see in our examples here, they can represent different things. So they can represent color, like the Acer rubrum, rubrum being the red in the red maple. It could be who discovered it. So Phryula wallacei is a spider discovered by Wallace. So he decided to name it like that. And then the place where it's discovered as well. So for the example here, it's the Aplysia californica, which is the California sea here. And you can see it in the picture here. It doesn't have to follow these things, but just an example of how they could be named. So before we get to the next part, we're going to have a quick stop and review, because some things from the cell unit are actually going to be super important for you to know. So there's 3 questions, same thing. Just pause and try to figure it out for yourself. Just listening to me is not going to really help you much. So pause it when we get to each question and figure it out for yourself before I reveal the answer. What is a major difference between prokaryotes and eukaryotes? So pause it. All right, so A, prokaryotes have no nucleus. B, all prokaryotes cause disease. C, eukaryotes contain more mitochondria. Or D, nucleic acids are found only in eukaryotes. Remember, pro means no, so no nucleuses or nuclei in prokaryotes there. And remember, prokaryotes are bacteria. Eukaryotes, you have eukaryotic cells. So that's plants and animals. So A would be